Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm excited to share with you a step-to-step tutorial on how to create this stunning outfit that you have seen me wearing. So if you're interested in learning how to make this outfit, keep watching to the end. I'll walk you through the entire process. So let's get started. So I'll start by placing my tape from the shoulder line down to the hem. So I used 42 inches including the hemming allowance. Guys, I'm so sorry the camera isn't really showing what I'm doing on the hem part, but trust me, I'm carefully cutting out the extra fabric at that area. So guys, before we proceed, I want to let you guys know that my fabric is placed on 4 folds. It means that the back and the front pieces are layered together. So let's work on the neckline. I used 3 inches as my neck width. Then I used 1 inch as my back neck depth. So I'll go ahead to use my curvy ruler to shape it out nicely. I mean the back neckline. So I marked out 7 inches as my front neck depth. So to create a V neckline, I will use my ruler to connect the 3 inches that is our neck width to the 7 inches neck depth. So I'm placing my tape from the center front at the shoulder line. Then I'm measuring down 20 inches. Now my actual sleeve length is 22 inches, but I'm marking out 20 inches here because I will be attaching a 2 inches sleeve band. So from the 20 inches mark, I'm coming down by 1.5 inches to create a shoulder slope. Then I will use a straight ruler to connect this point to the neckline, shaping out the shoulder area. Next, I'm marking out the sleeve opening. So from the 1.5 shoulder slope mark, I'm measuring down 11.5 inches. These 11.5 inches include the sewing allowance for both the shoulder and the armhole part. Now I'll connect the points with a straight line to shape out the sleeve opening. So now let's determine the width of this gown. So this totally depends on how wide you want your own gown to be. For mine, I'm using my hip measurement plus 5 inches. So my hip measurement is 41 inches. So adding 5 inches will give us 15.25. So that's the width I'll be using for this gown. So guys, I mean that my hip measurement is 41 inches. So dividing 41 inches by 4 will give us 10.25. So if I add 5 inches to the 10.25, it will give us 15.25. So I'll be using 15.25 as the width of this gown. So I'll go ahead to connect that point to my sleeve opening using a straight line. Next, I'll mark the width of the gown down to the length of the gown, like you can see me doing in the video. And then connect it to the armhole part using my straight ruler. So I'll go ahead to shape out this armhole part nicely to avoid it being too sharp. Now it's time to cut out the fabric. So now that we're on the neckline, so let's cut out the back neckline first. Then we'll now cut out the shoulder. Once you are done cutting out the shoulder, then you separate the layers. After that, you cut out your front neckline. While cutting, you make sure that you fold the lines you have marked carefully and cut accurately to get the best results. Okay guys, let's move on to the front piece. So as you can see, I have gone ahead to cut out the front facing and interfaced it for stability. Now I'm placing it to the neckline of my gown. So see how I'm aligning it to the neckline. Okay guys, now that we have pinned the facing in place, so this is where we will sew it right along this edge. Yeah, just follow the lines and you will get the nice clean finish. So I'll go ahead to bring in my back piece. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut out the neck facing and iron the interfacing on it. As you can see, I'm aligning the two pieces and pinning them together to secure them in place. Now all you need is to sew along the pin edge to attach the facing to the neckline, like you see me doing. Now that I'm done sewing the neckline, so this is how it looks. So I'll go ahead to iron that sewn part to give it a clean finish. So here I'm done ironing the neckline, so this is how it looks. Okay, so now that we have our front piece, so let's bring in our back piece. We'll place them together with the right sides facing each other. Before sewing the shoulder line, I'll first of all join the front and back facing together. Then I will sew them down to the shoulder line, then to the sleeve length. Now do the same thing for the other sleeve. So this is actually how it turned out after sewing the neckline and the shoulders together. So I'm gonna head to cut out the strap that I'll be using for the sleeve band. So I measured the sleeve circumference and used that measurement for the length of the strap. Then the width of the strap is 2.5 inches on fold, which will be 5 inches when opened up. Now I'm folding the strap in half and marking the center with a notch. I'll then position it on the sleeve, aligning it with the shoulder seam, then pin it in place. So now that the straps are pinned together, I will go ahead to sew it in place. After sewing, I will press the seam to flatten it out, and I will bring it back for you to see the results. So as you can see, I've gone ahead to cut out my pocket pieces. So to position the pocket, I'm using my tape to mark 18 inches from shoulder to waistline on both sides of the dress. So I'm also marking the back. So this way, the front and the back pockets will align. So now let's pin the pocket in place. So to sew the side seam of the dress, so first of all start from the sleeve, then work our way down to the waistline, then around the pocket area, then finally down to the hem area. We will not sew all the way to the button hem because we have a 9 inches slit on both sides. It means that we will stop sewing at 9 inches from the hem. Okay, let's take a look at the pocket area. See how it's looking nicely, just the way we want it. And now let's check out the slit. Make sure to hem the edges so that it looks nice and smooth. So after that, I'll go ahead to use my tape to measure out the circumference at that 9 inches mark. So after that, I will use my tape to decide on how long I want the trims to dangle out on each side of the dress. So from the bottom of the dress, I'll measure up 9 inches and mark a straight line using a chalk and my ruler. So after that, I'll mark 2 inches line above that first line. Then I'll use my ruler to connect it with a straight line. So I'll go ahead to do the same thing I did at the front, at the back. So now I will go ahead to place the velvet trims on the back line. and sew it in place. And that's it. Now that everything is sewn, don't forget to iron your clothes to get that clip stitch finish. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.